Welcome to the Martial Arts Lifestyle Podcast, where we talk with martial arts practitioners about their histories and the influence that their practice of martial arts has on their lives. You are listening to the free version of this podcast, which is abbreviated. Help support this program by considering to subscribe to us on Patreon, where you will get 4 full-length podcasts each month, 1 week before the YouTube release date. The cost is that of about 1 coffee shop coffee per month. Go to www.patreon.com/malmag to subscribe. That is www.patreon.com/malmag. If you would like to purchase single full-length episodes of the Martial Arts Lifestyle Podcast, visit our Gumroad page at malmag.gumroad.com, and that is malmag.gumroad.com. This week, I sit down with stunt woman and actress Avaah Blackwell in Beverly Hills. We talk about her humble beginnings in martial arts in Canada and how she's integrating that into her stunt work, acting, and what she's up to now. Sit back and enjoy. Welcome to the Martial Arts Lifestyle Podcast, and as you can tell, I'm sitting on a busy street here in Beverly Hills. Ready to interview a very interesting new friend, I'm going to call her, that I've met through my training at the Inosanto Academy of Martial Arts. And this young lady is in the exciting world of film and TV and gets to dabble in many of the different universes we all love. And it was interesting. She first introduced me to herself as Avaah, as in Ava Gardner. I'm like, well, that's easy enough to remember, but she got the last name Blackwell, which is a lot more badass than Gardner, I gotta say. Welcome, Ava, to the show.
Hi, Tim. Thanks for having me. How are you doing?
Of course, I'm fantastic. So, of course, I think given the day and history of things that have just happened, I should say congratulations on the end of the SAG strike.
Thank you so much. That was a grueling few months, and we literally fought through it. You and I trained through the entire time. It was great. That's
what I say. You know, it's sad to see folks in your industry. When we see you, we know you're not working, but when we see you, you get to train, and we do like that as well. So it's there's the yin and yang of that whole situation.
Yeah, we made the absolute best of it, I think.
Absolutely.
And, you know, we're recording this on November 10th. The strike ended officially yesterday at 12:01.
Yesterday?
Yeah, yesterday.
Okay.
So
I remember it was like, I think we were talking about, Wednesday evening, right?
Yes.
And it was supposed to take effect midnight.
I love that moment. That was just I just want to take a minute to recognize that, like, how special the Inosanto community is, because I was there training with you. I was in your class.
Right.
Doing kickboxing. And fellow classmate came up and congratulated me, and that's how I found out, because I hadn't checked my phone because we had just done the Little Dragons.
Right.
I was contending with the Little Dragons for hours. And
right.
During that time, it was confirmed that the strike was over, and all my classmates were so happy to congratulate me. It was so nice.
Well, that's cool, and it's, you know, hopefully it's a weird time of year. I mean, for those of you who don't work in the industry, I've been in post-production for a long time. In that industry, a couple decades, and usually this time of year is that kind of hurry up, scramble, get things done, and then we're kind of dead for a while for the holidays, because they tend to like to take a lot of time off for the holidays.
Well, I mean, you Americans, you love your Thanksgiving. You love your Thanksgiving.
Well, look at us. We love to eat.
It's true. I'm so excited. This is going to be my first Thanksgiving in America.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What the heck is going on here? Oh, I see.
Do we want to move?
No, it's okay. We'll just talk through the small talk through loud noises like that. We're literally sitting next to an Office Depot that is closing, so I think both Ava and I are going to run in here after the interview and check out what this 90% off stuff is going here. See if we can get, lots of paper clips and pens for nothing. But yeah, so Thanksgiving. This will be your first Thanksgiving in the U.S.
Yes, my very first
Wow.
Thanksgiving. Yeah.
Well, so you're from Canada, right?
I am.
And there is a Canadian Thanksgiving. I've seen it on I've seen it on the calendar. So what's the deal with Canadian Thanksgiving then?
Well, it's a little bit earlier than you guys. It's in October, and I mean it's same. It's turkey, all the fixins. Not usually sweet potato pie. I hear that's a big thing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's huge. So we usually have pumpkin pie.
Okay, we do have that too.
Yeah, that's more the focus.
Trust me, most Americans have more than one pie going on there.
Yeah, but yeah, we all get together. We give thanks. enjoy ourselves, but then we have a little bit of a break before Christmas. You know.
Is it the same sort of story though? This idea of settlers being there and they were kind of in trouble, and natives came along and helped them, and then
helped them all out.
Within a couple years, we shot them all.
Yeah, which is terrible. And we shouldn't have. I mean, I say we.
We. I think you're a little young for that.
Well, ancestrally, you know what I mean. Not our proudest moment. There's a lot of reparation and reconciliation that still needs to happen. So there's a lot of other celebrations that we partake in on Thanksgiving to sort of recognize and hold space for our First Nations.
Exactly.
People and community.
Well, it's good. I'm glad you're here for it, because honestly, American Thanksgiving is probably my favorite of the holidays. Mm-hmm. And the reason why I like that one is because it's all the food, all the getting together and enjoying company with none of this present gift pressure. I love that.
Yeah, same. I am about that. Let's all get together. Your presence is the present.
Right. Yeah, exactly. You can enjoy some sports. There's still some sports on TV if you're into that. And then, hopefully, the kids are around and they aren't so worried about gifts either at that point. So you can have fun with the kids that are around. And then there you go.
Yep.
Well, awesome. Well, tell us a little bit about how you got started in martial arts.
Well, I was 6 years old, and my mom put me in a ballet class, and I ran around doing flying kicks in the air in my tutu. So, ballet teacher was like, maybe she should try something else.
They had you kicking, and you were kicking other people.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I was just kicking in the air. I wasn't kicking other people.
Gotcha.
That goes into my whole style as a martial artist. I'm more of a defensive than offensive.
Gotcha.
But I like to kick. I like to jump and run around and kick. And so being from kind of rural-ish Canada, the outskirts of Calgary, the thing that was around in the mid-90s was a karate studio.
Okay.
A traditional Shotokan karate under Sensei Yuri Isakovich. And I studied with him for about 10 years.
Now, what was his name there?
Yuri Isakovich.
Okay.
He's Ukrainian, but he studied in Okinawa, Japan.
Okay.
And then came over and had his own little, karate club, his dojo. But he ran a very tight ship. He was great. It was very traditional. It wasn't like fitness karate. It was like traditional form. Mm-hmm. We competed. It was competitive karate. And it was great. It was amazing structure for me as a kid growing up. Great foundational art.
Indeed. I think it's great, especially now, if you don't mind me remarking, because people are not watching a video here, you're a very tall lady.
I am.
You're at 5'11", almost 6 foot.
I say 6 feet on a good day.
I'm going to tend to agree, because I say 6'4" on a good day with me, and you're like up to my eyebrows or something like that. Yeah. So, and it's funny because when I stand up next to Ava, actually our waistlines come the same. So she's literally got the same leg length I have, which, as a good kicker, makes her quite dangerous. She can kick you from about 4 feet away, which is really pretty cool. And it's been fun to watch you kind of spar with that background in the kickboxing class.
Yeah, thank you.
Because a lot of people from the academy are obviously bringing in, if that's their primary point of learning in their history, they're going to bring in the Muay Thai, they're going to bring in the Jun Fan, they're going to have particular things they're doing. And then, we get the visitors or the people coming in with other backgrounds like yourself, or even Joel there in class.
Yeah, Joel, he's an amazing kicker.
Yeah, he's got you never guess his age. The guy's like in his 60s.
I know.
Isn't that crazy?
I know. Well, I didn't know until
you ask him. Yeah, you can't tell by looking at him.
No.
And so, he's got, I think he said Taekwondo for at least 20 years.
He's more Taekwondo, yeah. His kicks are beautiful.
Right.
And effective.
Right, exactly.
I've been hit with
and
them.
It's fun because it's not things that you're necessarily expecting. And it's kind of one of the ideas I think we want to have in JKD is this, I got to see these other things to learn how to deal with them.
I think it's so important to cross-train. And I think it's great to have like a through line of your foundational art that you sort of either stick to or feel comfortable with. We all have different strengths and weaknesses as fighters, and you have to find the style that suits you. But if you don't cross-train, then you're missing out on so much.
Right.
You know, your art's not complete, in my opinion.
Right. Well, and I started in traditional karate too, in Okinawan karate.
Yeah.
And
I did not know that about you.
Oh yeah. 10 years, easy.
Same.
In that.
Okay, we had the same.
Exactly. And what's crazy is at some point you probably realize, wait, I know how to fight really good against another person doing exactly what I do.
Exactly.
I don't really know what to do if they've got some kind of weird screwball thing coming at me. I did have the benefit in my school of it being a PKA fighters gym as well. So we did have people from different backgrounds jumping in and getting into this class. And so you started seeing like some of those crazy X kicks and things like that weren't necessarily in karate, but these guys were doing competitively. So
that's cool.
Yeah, it was a great education on that level.
Yeah, that's amazing. And I would assume that's like early days of being exposed to different arts.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially, was that in Illinois?
Yes.
Yeah, especially in smaller communities.
Right.
When I was growing up, it was very much like this art is the only art and other arts are inferior, and no matter which art you were studying.
Now that was there. This was 1982 and 83 when I started. So I mean, it was there. I was just in, fortunately, a very unusual school where we did do that. But a lot of everyone, and we fortunately had very good relationships with most of the other schools as well. So there was respect there. But you could see that and you could hear that, and it was really obvious too. Like, no, this is your thing. Stay in your lane, even though we all secretly went out of our lane, like everybody did.
Got to do what's effective.
Exactly. So you started, how old in karate then? 6?
6. Yeah.
6,
yeah.
Wow, okay.
Yeah. Started at 6, and then I did it. I'm a military family, so my both parents are military, and then when my parents split, my mom stayed in Calgary, my dad moved around, so sometimes I was with my dad, so I wouldn't train as consistently as I wanted to, but he always tried to, like, you know, my dad was really good about making sure he always had space for me to, like, train on my own made me do it. That was a great thing about my dad. He was regimented about that stuff because he saw I took to it and I liked it, so he wanted to encourage me in that direction. You know?
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Now it's funny, I think when people in America think of coming from a military family, they're thinking of American military, and they tend to think of a very strict, regimented household. What's it like being the child of Canadian military? Now, of course, now we're going to have a stereotype too, where we think, oh, they're laid back, and they're going,
laid back, but in a way where they, like, there was no doubt, or it was never not known that my parents would enforce punishment if we strayed outside the lines, but it was like pretty trusted that we were staying within the lines. Yeah, my mom was military police. Okay. So she's a character, that one.
She knew how to handle rowdy, drunk military people.
Yeah. And then, and my dad is NCO, non-commissioned officer. He was captain at the time, retired as a major.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and he had like 38 years of service in, and my mom had, I think, I'm sorry, Mom, if I'm getting this wrong, but I think she had 17 or 18 years of service,
That's pretty good career length.
Yeah, it was good. So, I don't know, I grew up exposed to, like, definitely not as regimented as I hear from some of the, like, even British military and like, because we traveled all over the world doing that. Dad worked with NATO, and he also worked with the UN doing peacekeeping and all that stuff. So I got exposed to a lot of different types of military culture.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, we weren't quite as strict, but there was still, you know, repercussions to our actions.
I gotcha. Yeah, that's an interesting fact to learn about you, because it's like you seem way more laid back to me than someone that would have necessarily come from a military family. But I relate. My father was also Marine Corps for 8 years.
Oh, yeah.
He was out by the time I was born and all that, but he did not run a yes or no sir household. It wasn't like that. But he taught me a lot of the good stuff, like the awareness and
all of that.
All that good stuff, without it being this weird, hardcore thing.
Yeah, and that was kind of my dad's style too. Like, we all knew how to shoot guns. Like, all me being my brother and sisters and I all knew how to shoot guns. All kind of knew how to take care of ourselves. Situational awareness was huge. Yeah. Listening to our intuition, following our gut, being able to defend ourselves. Like those were big things for both of our parents. Yeah. Those were important lessons that I take with me everywhere I go.
Nice.
Yeah.
So after you got, let's say, we would say, I guess, college age here. So that's the age where you're going to start kind of moving around.
Yeah.
Where did you go?
Well, so this is interesting. I got selected to be a Rotary Youth Ambassador.
Oh, wow. So what's that? I've heard of this.
Yeah, so it's with the Rotary Club. They're a worldwide club of humanitarians, essentially. That,
okay.
You know, they do a lot. They do a lot of aid work and community work. But the main thing that I was exposed to was their exchange program. So I got selected to go to Holland. And
wow.
I ended up,
So you got to be around other tall people.
Other tall people. So many tall people. I'm like kin. My background is Slovenian, they're also very tall. Slovenian, Ukrainian, but
wow.
Dutch. I love the Dutch culture. But I was supposed to grade for my black belt in karate and Shotokan. I did the pre-grading. I passed, and then they had to change my flight, so I had to fly out the day I was supposed to officially grade for my black belt. Yeah. So it wasn't until years later where I was like officially awarded my black belt.
Wow.
You know, that's funny.
Yeah, but you could still crack a skull, I'm thinking.
Oh yeah. But over in Holland, there wasn't much Shotokan at the time, but I got exposed to Wado karate over there.
Oh yeah.
Which is a cool style. So that was my next sort of, and the Dutch are excellent kickboxers.
Oh yeah.
Amazing kickboxers.
Right.
They kind of kept going where Americans sort of left
exactly.
off, you know?
Yeah, there's a whole list, there's a whole article there for me. The history of that.
Yeah, it's such interesting. The Dutch have they have a really interesting history, and not all of it is super shiny.
Right, yeah.
But they did, like Guru was saying the other day, like the Indo-Dutch style of fighting. What was he talking about? I don't know if you were there for that.
Yeah, he was talking about the Dutch Indo, so he was talking about it in relation to Silat.
Yes.
And the fact that the De Vries family had native Indonesian workers and treated them better than the average, ones were being treated. So there was a situation where the Indonesians that were working for them decided to share the secret of Silat.
Yes, as a gift,
them.
Right?
Yeah, as a gift, exactly. And then, he kind of discussed how there was a lot of intermarriage between the Dutch and the Indonesians, as you would kind of expect within any of these sort of colonial situations. And then you had, just a lot of very interesting history regarding some of the people that ended up being Grootnan's teachers that are Dutch Indos. Mm-hmm. And then there's a whole, thing in I think it was 1960s, 1970s with Sukarno, and they wanted to throw all of those people out and make it purely Indonesian. So, I mean, there's a lot of really interesting history.
Yeah, disbanded people, right?
Yeah.
It's like the Métis in Canada, half French, half First Nations.
Oh, wow.
Similar kind of situation. I mean, not with martial arts, but with like the understanding of that culture, the political, and then just being like not accepted anywhere.
Yeah,
really.
And the weird playing with genetics that everyone does. Like,
yeah, but makes for really beautiful people.
Well, sure. Yeah. I mean, I've thought that the world out. It's weird for me to ever say that. This whole beauty standard, talking about beauty and ugly, that's more personality. I mean, people are just have interesting looks to them all the way around, and that's
100%.
Especially when you kind of start combining things. It's almost like art. You're like, okay, I'm going to take this from over here and combine it with this, and you get something that's really pretty striking because we're not used to seeing that.
Yeah. And beauty is in the eye of the beholder.
In the eye of the beholder, exactly. And I've said it many times, and this is probably just a product of my age, where you can meet people that are, I think, aesthetically very attractive, and the moment they start behaving, you're like, whoa, that is not attractive at all. So.
Oh yeah, are you talking about like a younger generation?
Or just any generation in general.
Well, okay, fair. Yeah, 100%.
But I mean, as a younger man, I probably wouldn't have been so much like, oh yeah, you'd have given that hot girl a lot of chances.
Oh yeah, a lot more. It's funny how that
I'm just like
gets
wow.
weighted a little less and less each year.
Yeah, now I'm just like, wow, you really treated
yeah.
that person in the coffee bean like where we're at, like garbage. It's like you are no longer even in consideration to me.
Correct,
you know?
yeah.
Which I'm probably not in consideration to you at all, but.
But yeah, fair. Well, you gotta have standards.
Exactly, gotta have
It's
some
good
standards.
Good to know your standards.
I got a pretty strong moral line, I like to think.
Yeah, I think we both resonate on that. But I think you can tell that about you from just the way you interact with people.
Yeah.
And the way you teach and instruct, and
I like the underdogs. I've been one.
Yeah.
It's nice being a very large human, but I haven't always been.
Really?
No, shoot, I didn't get my growth spurt probably till between 7th and 8th grade. So it was funny.
Wow.
I got into karate, so this is between my 7th and 8th grade year, and then
wow.
then I got tall. So the bullying ended pretty quick between the karate and the suddenly 6'4".
Yeah. Everybody who messed with you
Yeah.
was regretting their choices.
Well, it was funny. It was just like going into high school, and we moved a little bit. So where I went to, say, my freshman year of high school is not where I was in 8th grade
Right.
and 7th grade with. So this was a whole new batch of people who were extremely confused because this was a more rural area. So they were very much into the hazing and all that crap. Freshmen must be hazed. Freshmen are going to push pennies with their nose and all this other stuff. And I'm like, I am not about to be humiliated by a pack of children,
Yeah.
let alone adults.
Yeah.
And the funny thing about it was there wasn't a lot of that actual physical attempts from these folks that were the bullies that want to do it. There was a lot of confusion on their part because they're like, that guy's not a freshman, there's no way.
Right.
So they were like worried about the weird technicality of it. Well, we don't pick on a sophomore. We don't pick on a junior. And I'm
You're
like,
safe.
yeah, I'm just thinking,
You're
wow,
a year
what a
older.
pack of knuckleheads.
Yeah.
And in the meantime, by the time they were kind of figuring out who I was, I had made enough key friendships with people that they were like,
They left you
don't
alone.
tangle with this guy. He's got like this kickboxing thing. So yeah,
Cool.
it was pretty
Cool.
funny.
That's cool. Sweet.
It shows you just how silly, a lot of it is, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, if you look at anything from like a lot of human behavior from an outside viewpoint, like an extraterrestrial viewpoint,
Yeah.
you're just like, it's insanity.
yeah, it is.
It's just, you have to learn to laugh at yourself and
Yeah.
at humanity's behavior in a lot of ways, because we have these brains that are designed to eat berries in a cave.
Which sounds like a delightful thing to do these
Yeah,
days.
I know. These days I'm like, that sounds real good.
Maybe
Can
find
we
me a good
please?
cave with
Yeah,
some berries.
Yeah, please. And we're running around with these like supercomputers.
I was going to say, because I've been in some delightful caves. There's a beautiful one in the Philippines I've been in that had this
Oh my
waterfall
God,
and stuff. I'm like,
beautiful.
you know what? I could go hang out there with some berries and that'd be great.
Yeah, same. I'm at that. Like, I didn't get it maybe 10 years ago. I was like, there's so much of the world to like see and do and achieve. And now at this point, I'm like, just want some good people to train with.
Yeah.
And maybe make a cool thing or two a year,
Yeah.
and then just go hang out in nature. That's all I really want.
Absolutely. Well, talking about cool things, so how did you get making cool things anyway? How'd you get involved in the whole entertainment
Oh yeah.
thingy?
Yeah, that's a trip. Well, I was always interested in make-believe, and I was always creating characters as a kid. I loved doing it. And again, my father traveled a lot for work. He was always stationed in different places, and one of the things that him and my stepmom always made a point of doing was when we came to visit, they put us in a drama camp, my sister and I, to like kind of meet other kids. And I love connecting with people like that.
And this concludes the abbreviated version of the Martial Arts Lifestyle Podcast. Please click the like and subscribe buttons as well as the notification bell. Also consider subscribing to the full-length podcast at www.patreon.com/malmag or purchasing individual full-length episodes at malmag.gumroad.com. Thank you for listening to this episode with Avaah Blackwell. Coming up next week, we cross the pond again and speak with UK's Mark Black. Check out the Malmag store at www.martialartslifestylemagazine.com and click on the store tab. There, you will find a full selection of Timmy B's brand sticks for FMA and Krabi Krabong, as well as Timmy B's and Dos Manos t-shirts. Many more products coming soon. Also click on our courses tab to purchase online courses, right now featuring a course in the Dos Manos stick of FMA. More courses to come. This show is produced by Martial Arts Lifestyle Magazine. Visit us at www.martialartslifestylemagazine.com and enjoy the free version of our online magazine with articles, a recommended schools page, and a worldwide events calendar. Music by Jack Al Relic. Martial Arts Lifestyle Magazine and the Martial Arts Lifestyle Podcast are trademarked and copyrighted by TNT LLC.